All right, man, peace. So, brothers, I wanted to use this court case here as a backdrop because it would allow me to expound on a concept that I think is very important. And that is, what are the various types of liars? And what do you do once you're able to deduce what type of a liar that you're dealing with? So, you got the people who tell the little white lies, as they call them, quote unquote. Like, I was late for work because my car stalled, or my dog ate my homework. Then you got the big liars. They'll tell you things like, oh, I graduated from Harvard and they didn't even go to community college. Or a chick will tell a dude it's your baby when it's not your baby. Those are big liars. Then you have bald-headed liars. And that's the most dangerous type of liar, because that's someone that actually believes their own bullshit. So that brings us back to this case. And what we're going to see here is an example of a bald-headed liar in more ways than one. So anyway, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
Plaintiff Emma Gardner says after the defendant bought her old car from a salvage yard, he reached out to her about getting the key, and they ended up dating.
Now, this should be a red flag right here for anybody dealing with this woman. You know for a fact, literally, she's a bald-headed liar, okay? Walking the courtroom looking like Charles Xavier.
Emma claims months later the defendant returned the car to her as a gift, but now he wants it back. So she's suing for repairs she put into the car and emotional distress. Defendant Jude Ambion says Emma is a delusional con artist because they never dated.
So we have a bald-headed liar versus a possible Nigerian scammer. That's what this is coming down to.
And were never romantically involved. Jude insists he never gave Emma the car as a gift. She was supposed to buy it from him, but he's countersuing because she never paid him for the vehicle.
Start with you.
The reason why we're here today is because I really stopped having relationships with Mr. Ambion.
When did it start, your relationship with him?
I purchased a car, which is...
Now, look at what she's doing. The judge asked her, when did her relationship start? She started her testimony by alleging that the reason why their rapport dissolved is because she stopped having an amorous relationship with him. The judge asked her, when did the relationship start? Basically, what he's trying to imply by asking her that question is, when did you and him start to become intimate? Intimate. The first thing that she does is roll her eyes upward and start going into some storyline about the car. The judge did not ask her about the car. He asked her about their relationship. Once again, that's a sign you're dealing with a bald-headed liar.
Which is the year.
I said, when did the relationship
January,
start?
like when I met him.
January of
2016.
All right, and how did you all begin this relationship?
I purchased the car back in April of 2015. My daughters wrecked the car in October of 2015. It ended up going into the salvage yard, which Mr. Ambion bought the car.
I feel sorry for her daughter. I really do. And we'll see as the case proceeds. Oftentimes, many of these young women, they don't really have an option to figure out how to conduct themselves as women because they have bad role models as their mothers. And, I mean, certain people might not like that. It just is what it is. We live in a society where the mother principle is venerated as opposed to being loved, honored, and respected. See, when you venerate something, that means that you don't believe that it can be improved upon. You don't believe that that principle can be challenged or chastised. And every aspect of society, especially in the flesh, has to be constantly scrutinized, so that it can be improved upon. You have to be able to call certain things out for improvement. That's how we grow as a society. What they've done with the female, particularly the feminine principle, and the mother aspect is they've put it on a pedestal and they've deified it. So now when it comes time for it to be scrutinized, everybody has to utilize red herring tactics, i.e. the what about your mother technique that you'll oftentimes see utilized over social media and the internet when it's time to put a spotlight on the way that many females conduct themselves. That is why I tell brothers, do not get into a back and forth with the woman. Avoid the gender war nonsense. Just observe and analyze and make sure that you do what you have to do to keep drama and stupidity out of your own life. That's all you can do. You can't worry about trying to change someone else. Make sure that you have a standard for what you're going to allow into your own life. I say that to say this. The young lady who's sitting nearby the plaintiff, who's her daughter, the conduct of her mother is going to rub off on her. And it's going to stop her from being able to have beneficial relationships with men as she gets older.
I had the keypad to it because it's a push start. And he contacted me. I was in Alabama. He contacted me. I don't even know how he got my information. But once
he went on NubianProfessorX.com. That's what he did. That's how he found your ass.
Contacted me. I thought it was a scam or something, so I hung up. So he ended up calling me back. Long story short, we ended up talking. I went back to Georgia.
So you say in January you all began dating? January 16th?
Well, we met in January.
All right,
Yes,
when
sir.
did you begin dating?
You see how the judge keeps trying to go back to establish the amorous aspect of their relationship, and she keeps being evasive?
It was probably a little after that, probably like in February,
How
March.
did that occur?
We just, once he met me and came and got the key, he asked me to dinner. I declined. He asked me again, and we ended up going to dinner.
Okay,
And we just
February.
started somewhere around in there, yeah. And we just started talking every day since then. And
When did
hanging
you
out.
break up?
I wouldn't even say it was a breakup. Like we just,
You all still go together?
no, sir.
I don't understand.
we
You say
stopped
you were...
living.
Judge, what she's saying is that, at least according to her testimony, whether or not it's true or not, or has yet to be established, but according to what she's trying to establish in her testimony, they were basically fuck buddies. That's what she's trying to imply, Judge Mathis.
We're dating, but you don't believe you broke up.
I didn't say I don't believe we broke up.
What is it?
We are not talking anymore.
But you still go together.
The friendship stopped, and
Judge Mathis is talking like it's still 1977. No, they don't go together, Judge Mathis. According to what she's trying to imply, they met up, he took her out to dinner, and they just started banging, and eventually they pretty much have drifted apart and they don't talk. That's what she's trying to allege. How true that is has yet to be established.
in June.
That doesn't mean you broke up too? The friendship just stopped, or have you stopped dating as well?
We don't date. No, sir.
You used
They don't date, they just fuck. That's what she's trying to imply.
You used to?
Yes.
When did you stop?
June.
Woo!
Hey, tell me about it, Judge Mathis.
Lord, I'm working too hard on this.
Hey, brothers, when you have to work too hard on communication, that means that person is not worth communicating with.
You need a raise. Stay tuned. The case continues after this. Involved.
Sir, let me hear from you. Hopefully you'll make it easier on me. When did you all start and when did you stop dating?
Your Honor, this is one of the most absurd stories I've heard. I never dated her. Never had anything sexual or any kind of relationship with this lady. She's a con artist.
I believe you, bro. I believe you. Because she's standing over there trying to act surprised and shocked, looking like Charles Barkley in drag, and she know damn well that she's making this shit up. You could tell by looking at her face. You could tell by how disjointed her testimony was that she's trying to figure out a way to concoct an angle where supposedly he's upset with her because he promised her the car and now she's cut him off, and that's the reason why he wants to, fight for the ability to make her pay for the vehicle.
When did she first tell you she
She
was...
never told me she was
This is
dating.
the first you're hearing that
No,
she was dating.
I got it on the text. I got it on the text in about a month and a half ago.
Saying we dated.
No, she said in the text that this is going to be her story in court, that
I believe you.
I demanded my car back
Let's
when
see that. I want to see what she told you. She was in essence going to lie.
and I
say you all
told
dated.
her.
All right, and
Okay.
ma'am, I guess that's why your testimony sounded shaky, and I see perhaps why.
Past shaky. She's sitting there and she's speaking as if she's someone that not only has concocted a lie, but she's trained herself to believe the lie that she's concocted in her head, which is very dangerous. Brothers, look, you dealing with a chick and you're speaking to her about a past event that may have occurred between you and her, and you know for a fact what occurred. And not only is she trying to be combative in regards to what you're stating occurred, but she's being extremely bellicose about it. And she's presenting a version of the event that you know for a fact didn't happen. And she's dead set on making you believe that that is what occurred. She's letting you know right there. She is beyond emotionally unstable. That's a bald-headed liar. Someone who not only has concocted a complete fallacy, a complete lie, but has convinced herself to believe it. A very, very dangerous individual. You should get away from that person as soon as possible.
Hi. The man said y'all never dated at all. Let's see what you have. Get this out the way. See.
Check out the date, Your Honor.
Listen, you gave me this car. You gave me this car. We were involved with each other. And as soon as I didn't want to sleep with you anymore, you started all this. This is me. Who is me? You?
Yes.
Stupid story. Told by crooks like you. Laughable. Tell that to the warden at jail. So you're ridiculing her allegation.
Exactly.
I am shocked that you turned to be this person, making up lies. Okay.
Oh.
So that was your response to her allegation. She did allege that you gave her the car and that you, as soon as she didn't want to sleep with you anymore, you started all this. So she believes you all slept together and you believe that you didn't.
Now look at the plaintiff. This bitch is batshit crazy. Look. She don't even know if she believes it or not. I think that she just convinced herself so that she can come off as convincing in court.
So somebody was dreaming.
Hey, brothers, remember, the best way for a good liar to convince you that they're telling you the truth is that they must first convince themselves.
Exactly.
You were dreaming that you didn't, and she was dreaming that she did. I don't know whose dream was right. Go ahead, ma'am. What else you want me to know other than you all dated and you're not sure if you broke up yet? What else you want me to know?
I wasn't meaning it that way, but in that same text that he just gave you, he also called me a crackhead crook, and I have the...
I believe him. I believe him. I believe that you are a crackhead crook. You're a bald-head crackhead crook.
I have the same text.
All right, we're talking about your lie first, then we'll get to his lie. We're talking about you saying you...
Yes, you did.
Saying you dated him and not being able to explain it to me properly, and this man explaining it to me quickly, concisely, and with evidence. You give me some background, sir.
Sir, Your Honor, I bought the car, purchased the car in December 2000.
That's the first encounter you all had was regarding a car?
That is correct.
All right, and so when you all met, you all never went out to dinner?
No, we did. When I came to pick up the key for the car, because the key had no car, so the gentleman I bought the car from asked me to call the previous owner to get the key because they repossessed the car for non-payment. Non-payment, it was a finance company that actually sold the car for me. So what happened was when they asked me to call, her number was in the car. Her items were in the car.
Let's start out with her testimony regarding the car because you're giving me a detailed explanation about how it wasn't a gift.
Absolutely. And the main reason why Judge Mathis says, let me go back to the plaintiff, is because he understands that if he allows the defendant to give a detailed explanation of what occurred, that's going to allow the plaintiff to try to rebut what he's saying based off of the factoids that he's presenting. So Judge Mathis wants the plaintiff to give her testimony first so that she can go off the top of her head and try to make shit up. And so that, therefore, Judge Mathis can expose her for being a liar because it's very clear to him that the defendant has his facts together. He has his version of the events together with a proper chronological timeline.
And she has to make her allegation first. Ma'am, let me hear from you regarding him giving you a car.
Okay. I purchased the car in April of 2015. My children wrecked it in 2015 in October. The car ended up going to a salvage yard.
And Your Honor, I had to make sure I got a new car because the roof got torn off of that car. And every time I drove, I was getting windburn on the top of my head.
And he bought the car. So he needed the keypad to start the car. He contacted me while I was in Alabama. When I came back to Georgia, I met him for the very first time and gave him the keypad. That is when he asked me to dinner. So and that's in January when I first met him. So the whole time of 2016, we kept in contact. We went to dinner.
I told him sometimes I couldn't meet him because the NBA playoffs were starting. And I had to meet up with Ernie Johnson and Kenny Smith and Shaquille O'Neal and commentate on the game at halftime. He said, that's okay.
I went to a
Did he
party.
ever ask you for money for the car?
No. No.
Never.
No, sir.
So this is the first time today that you've heard him ask for money.
He's asking me. I'm going to get to that point.
No, you get to it now.
Yes.
Answer that question honestly. Has he ever asked you for money for this car? Because you just told me 3 times no.
There's more Judge Mathis after this.
So you say he gave it to you when?
December of 2016.
All right, and how does he owe you for repairs?
Because when he called me, December, asked me to come to his house. I told him I did not have a way over there. My neighbor took me to the train station. He picked me up from the train station.
Ma'am, please tell me how he owes you for repairs. Not
Absolutely. And the only thing that she's establishing by her testimony is corroborating his statement that he was able to purchase the car from a financer because the car was repossessed because she was unable to make payments. If she had no way to make it over to him and someone had to assist her in getting to the train station, that will go along with his story that she was having money problems.
it's not about
Because
you
I
all's
repaired
dating. I don't want to hear any more
all
of
right,
that.
the repairs I put on the car was the catalytic converter because it needed to pass emissions.
So why does he owe you for that? Who has...
She don't know why he owes her for that because he doesn't owe her. Not only is she trying to get away from what she owes him in regards to the car payments, she's actually trying to win a court case so that he has to pay her. That's how wicked this person is. That's why, brothers, once again, watch out for bald-headed liars, man.
has the car?
I do.
So why does he owe you for the repairs to a car that he gave you?
Because he just wanted me to give him the car back.
All right, but you have it. So I'll go back to my question. Why do you want him to pay for a car that he gave you?
Because he wanted it back, and I just wanted the money.
All right, good enough.
Yeah, you see, he has to stop now because he's starting to understand that not only is she a liar, but she clearly has a mental issue. How the hell could you ask someone to pay you back for a car that they gave you? Does not make any sense. Allegedly gave her.
If you didn't give it back,
Okay.
go ahead, sir.
Your Honor, this is a sad story. Because I actually...
No, tell me about giving her the car. Did you
I
give
didn't
her
give
the
her...
Yeah, the judge is done with this case. He don't want to hear it's a sad story. He wants that woman out of his courtroom.
Give her the car or not?
My witness will tell you she wanted to buy the car from me for 1 year after
So
I met her.
did you give it to her?
No, I did not. How could I give her a car? What's she doing for me to give her a car?
Exactly. Hey, brothers, you hear that? Everything in life is a commercial transaction. It's always quid pro quo. It's very rarely that people just do things for you out of the kindness of their heart, especially if they don't know you. So the defendant is basically bringing that to the forefront so that he can make everyone in the courtroom and the judge understand that there will be no reason for me to do her any favors when she's not doing any favors for me.
She said what she was doing, would she?
Nothing.
She
I
said
can't
what she was doing.
Your Honor, I got evidence here that that car was not a gift because I was asking her for the money and the discussion about her getting financing for the car.
Let's see it.
Here you go. This page 7 says, I met with the guy yesterday, told me about the financing and the other one. He wants my...
Your claim is you all had an agreement for her to buy it and she didn't pay you?
No, she was supposed to get a financing for the car.
And didn't?
And she couldn't.
But kept your car?
And she kept the car.
All right, and that's why you're countersuing because you say it wasn't a gift. In fact, you say she was trying to get financing for it and you provided me with text. I thought we agreed that I will get the car back today. Please tell me where to pick up the car tonight. I am in dire need of it. One of the things you say, ma'am, I met with the guy yesterday and he told me it's too many miles on the car, plus it's a 2009 and it's going to be hard for any finance company to finance it.
Telling them bald-headed lies, man.
And much easier to pay you $200 a month versus $422 a month.
I told him I
Everything
would
you
do
said
that.
is untrue. Your claim
I
is
told
dismissed and yours is granted. Have a good day.
I know what she was trying to do. She was trying to get a settlement so that she can go to the wig shop.
Terribly disappointed. Honestly, and hurt. Terribly disappointed.
Are you really?
Because I really felt I was actually helping somebody. And I could only do what I could. But for her to go this route, to mess my image up about sleeping with her, giving her a car.
Yeah, he's like, I would never sleep with her. I could not bring her back to my to my city in Nigeria. Imagine that. Me walking down the street with this woman. In all seriousness, she has the head of a shaved baboon. I cannot bring her home to my mother.
That's
Dude,
really
we
sad.
never slept together.
Listen,
ever.
man,
Never.
please.
Don't say, man.
I
Oh my.
didn't have to go
Could you
to
please
sleep
take
with
this
you.
off? 'Cause
Forget
he's
her.
Take what off? Your wig is already off.
Forget
He's
her.
a liar. Yeah, forget you
Forget her.
too.
The judge already found out.
It's
who it
okay
was.
though, cause you's a liar. Cause we did sleep together.
You's a liar. We did sleep together. You told me when we was laying in bed that you had always loved when I played with the Phoenix Suns, better than when I was with the Philadelphia 76ers. You told me that. You told me you love this bald-headed coochie. You told me that. Liar. Hey, brothers, man. It just goes to show you how bugged out and crazy certain people are. Not even just the liberal woman. You have men that are out there like that too, who lie to themselves, and then it makes it much easier for them to lie to everyone else. Because if you can't believe your own lies, how the hell is anybody else going to believe them? So just be wary of bald-headed liars. All right, man? Peace.